Oh, you thought this year's NBA Finals were going to be drama-free? Come on now, we know better. Good morning, what's up? Thanks for hanging out with us for this fresh edition of SportsCenter AM. I'm Michael Leach. You know, professional athletes are motivated by everything from money to championship. But one thing that is guaranteed to stoke their fire, the possibility of getting embarrassed. And last night, facing elimination at the hands of the Warriors, the Cavs were not trying to live that got-swept life, setting up a 3-1 final scenario for a second straight year heading back to Oakland. Let's show you how we got here. Game 4 in Cleveland. LeBron James in elimination games is one of the best of all time. But would Kyrie show up in Game 4? Cleveland fans, well, they got exactly what they wanted. James misses the fadeaway, but Tristan Thompson, a renewed effort in Game 4. He had 10 rebounds, 4 offensive. That one goes back to LeBron for the and one. Cavs set an NBA record with 49 points in the first quarter. And here's the deal. They were not done breaking records Friday night. They're up 15 here. Irving off the handoff. The three, he was 7 of 12 from three-point range. Degree of difficulty off the charts. They set a finals record with 13 threes in the first half. Jump ahead, a little minute to play before we get to the half. Cavs up 19, Kyrie. One of the best finishers at the rim ever. And there he gets it done again. Take out the handles and the left-hand finish. Cleveland with the finals record, 86 points in the first half. Yet another record falling off the charts in Game 4. Now, in the third, James with another opportunity to wow the home crowd. I'll give it to Mike Green.
James drives, scoop layup, pass to himself, and he throws it down. He went up in the air and had nowhere to go.
James with 27 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds entering the fourth quarter. But it's that play that people are going to remember. Even Steve Kerr was like, all right, man, that was kind of impressive. And then from there, it was all Kyrie. LeBron to Kyrie's got Klay Thompson on him, looking at the competition like not a challenge. Left-hand floater. Kyrie with 40 points. That was a game high. I mean, he was just playing dudes like it was a game of Xbox. And then icing on the cake, Irving pulling up from 3. Ball game. Here's James on what was overheard before the game leading to this motivated effort.
I didn't hear it, but some of the other guys heard it and told me that, you know, that they wanted to, they wanted to celebrate on our floor once again, and, you know, they wanted to spray champagne in our locker rooms, and, you know, I think it came from Draymond, which is okay. That's Dre anyways.
King James and Kyrie go for 71. James with another triple-double. Third time in an NBA Finals that he's had a triple-double when facing elimination. Cavs win it in a blowout. Now, the Cavs set so many finals records in Game 4, we had to have our research staff do a homework assignment overnight. Cleveland started off with 49 points in the first quarter, the most of any quarter of play in NBA Finals history. But the Cavs kept it rolling from there. 86 points at halftime, the most in any half in Finals history. Kyrie and LeBron combined for an even 50 points at halftime. And no surprise that the 3-ball played a major role in this blowout. The Cavs hit a Finals record 13 trays in the first half. Kevin Love 4 of 5 through the first 2 quarters. And by game's end, they had 24 threes as a team, including a combined 18 between the trio of Kyrie, Love, and J.R. Smith. But it always starts and ends with King James. His 9th career Finals triple-double, breaking a tie with Magic Johnson for the most all time. But here's the deal. Tristan Thompson dropped some real talk on what motivated the record-breaking performance in Game 4.
Guys gonna talk. We gonna respond. But you ain't about to punk us, not me. You ain't about to punk Tristan Thompson. You got the game up with that. So you talk all you want. I'm gonna definitely bark back. That's just how it's built.
Whoa, I just dropped my chair because Tristan Thompson was dropping so much talk on me. I was a little excited. Let's bring it up here.
I
Tim
thought
Legler.
you looked a little short over there.
I just dropped down. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
he's bringing
man.
all that heat. This is Tim Legler, of course. And we just heard Tristan Thompson talk about, you ain't going to punk us. You certainly aren't going to punk Tristan Thompson. How did that play out in your mind and what you saw based on what they said?
Yeah, I just thought that Cleveland's mentality was different than it was in the first 3 games.
Okay.
They finally put it, as I will call it, an appropriate amount of disrespect for the Golden State Warriors. They looked ticked off.
Yeah.
And they started the game that way, and I just thought that they were initiating the contact most of that first quarter, and that set the tone for the entire game. We know about the three-point shooting, but it was a lot more than that. And here's a couple examples of what I'm talking about. Now, right here, when this ball's coming in on this lob pass to Kevin Love, this really should be a turnover.
Yeah.
I mean, look the way he's covered. Klay Thompson's got a hand up. The ball is actually up here. It's in the air. Take a look at Draymond Green on the weak side. I mean, he's tracking it, so there's really no way this ball should get through. But watch what Kevin Love does. He just shoves Klay Thompson to the side and then frees it right here. Take a look at what Tristan Thompson is doing. He's got his left arm up in the upper back of Zaza Pachulia. So he's just going to chuck him to the side, throw him away, and go up and get this tip in and make himself felt. He has really been a non-factor in this series. Another example here. Stop it right here. Take a look at where Iman Shumpert is. He's all the way out here on the floor after giving the show on Kevin Durant. Now he's going to end up somewhere in here under the basket by the time this play is done. Once again, no reason for the Cavs to end up with this. Take a look when Pachulia gets this basketball. I mean, look at all of the hands and the action raking down on him. And then you've even got a fourth guy in Shumpert hovering who's going to play into this in a second. They knock it out of his hands. And here's what I love. Ball goes to the ground. You got basically three guys in the middle of this scrum trying to come up with this basketball. And then Shumpert is eyeing it as well. He's going to jump in here in a second when the thing squirts loose. And then the end of this, I love. Once they end up with the basketball, freeze it right there. Take a look at the reaction of the Cavs bench. They were just much more emotionally engaged in this game than they have been to this point.
What took so long, though, Legs? I mean, if you're the Cavs fans, you're like, look, this is how we're supposed to play, but we're going to wait till we're almost getting swept to play like this?
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't resort to some of the tactics they employed last year to turn the series around.
Exactly.
Because that's really what happened. And there was more I could show you about what they did to Steph Curry last night and how physical they were with him. They clearly targeted him. No free catches, no space. We're going to deny you, overplay you. 10 of his 11 field goals were three-point attempts. He got nothing inside whatsoever. I think they believe by playing him physically the way they did a year ago when they turned the series around, at least maybe they could target one of those guys to take them out. And they did it last night at least. And obviously with the shot making that went on the other end of the floor as well, it was too much for Golden State to overcome. But I agree with you. I thought it was going to look a lot more like this starting game one. Now they finally engaged. Let's see now what Golden State's response is going to be when they get back home.
I think it's a good idea. I think later in SportsCenter we're going to take a look at some of the stuff they did to Steph Curry. That's called producing from the chair. It's a TV term, but we allow Tim Legler to do it. I do want to get your take, though, Tim, on what we saw from Draymond Green last night. Maybe the most emotional player we have in the NBA right now. We'll see how it played out last night because he's always being that guy who gets the team fired up, and it started here. Looked like he hit Iman Shumpert pretty good in the face.
He did. I mean, look, to be honest about it, he was having his wrist grabbed as that ball was coming toward him. Shumpert was grabbing onto his arm, and then he obviously overreacts to get him off of him and clocks him in the head.
All right, so Steve Kerr was like, shouldn't be a foul, but got a technical. The question was it on Draymond or Steve Kerr? Because now Draymond gets another one. Steve Kerr thinks he's gone. What did they call? Are you out? You're going out, second technical. And there was a lot of confusion because it was announced in the arena that it was a second technical foul on Draymond Green. In fact, the Cavs even played the song Hit the Road Jack by Ray Charles because they thought he was gone. Can we get some clarification here?
I've checked with the men at the official scorers table, and they all agreed as a unit that they were told by the officials that that first half technical was in fact on Draymond Green. That's why it was marked that way in the scorers table. It wasn't until that last incident where there was the stoppage at play where the officials went to the scorers and said, no, that first half technical was actually on Steve Kerr.
I thought they called it on Draymond. I thought I deserved it.
Ain't no tech gonna stop me from being me. And I mean, at least if I'm gonna get them, I think I should, like, let me earn them. You know, like, let me get my money's worth if I'm gonna get some techs.
Well, I don't think Draymond ever thinks he should be called for a foul, but nonetheless, he stays in the game, and then the crowd started giving it to him. Draymond dancing to the beat, and then he even shared some thoughts on what he thinks about Cleveland.
I don't pay much attention to anybody in Cleveland, honestly. don't seem to be the sharpest people around. So
Okay, nice dig as you're heading out of town. 16 points, 14 rebounds, 3 assists for Green, but he's got 4 technicals so far this postseason. Not as many as he had last year, but nonetheless, Draymond being Draymond. And he says, ain't no tech going to stop me from being Draymond.
Yeah, look, we know how emotional he is. Last night, he was talking so much. I made a joke last night. He made Kevin Garnett look like a Tibetan monk.
Ooh.
I mean, even Gary Payton was watching that like, man, he is really talking tonight. Look, I understand it fuels him, it fuels their team. They need some of that. They need that element to their team. Mm-hmm. But there are times when it just gets to be too much for too long.
Mike Brown checked him last night. The assistant coach for the Warriors checked him one time.
Once he thought he was ejected, Mike Brown got right in his chest because if you remember what happened a year ago with the suspension, and now we've even run a feature on it where he's saying, I was so remorseful and I felt so terrible and I apologized to my teammates. And everybody said, yeah, we forgave him. Well, you can't come back the next year and get ejected in the finals.
Exactly.
And I think what the confusion was on that first tee, by the way, it was just very ambiguous when the official made the technical indication. Normally, they will point in one direction or another.
There was no point.
He just did the tech, walked back, conferred with the other officials.
Yeah.
So really, it was ambiguous. Who was it on? I guess at the table, they thought it was certainly on Draymond Green. So he was lucky to dodge one right there. But again, it would have been a major distraction if he gets thrown out of that game based on what he did a year ago. And now that's all we're going to be talking about for 48 hours. So, look, he made the comments about the Cleveland fans. Better make sure it doesn't come back for Game 6.
Exactly.
Then. So now you need to really step up in Game 5 and bring it. You know he's going to bring the energy, but he's also got to bring the performance because they need him also to be a dominant defender, playmaker, all of the things he normally brings.
Tim Legler always brings it here on SportsCenter so much, we're going to keep him around all morning long. You got a few more hours here.